Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream on the channel. I'm going to be going through all of your comments today. This is going to be mainly a Q&A live stream. I haven't got a lot to say other than the markets right now still seem intact. They still seem strong to me. A lot of people are freaking out over a very minor correction. And when you zoom out, things are still looking very good. Bitcoin's above 100K. Ethereum is really, really high considering where it was a few weeks ago. And the total 3 also looks good to me. We're above support. Everything to me is really looking okay. It seems like this is a great time to actually go out there and buy the dip. And I'm going to be sharing with you, obviously, some of the altcoins I'd be prioritizing buying today. I will pull up my screen right now. Let me just get it up. But basically, the altcoins I would prioritize right now would be the ones which haven't pumped too much yet, okay? I've already told you about SUI a plethora of times. It's gone up a lot. I'm not buying SUI at these prices. I've also told you about virtuals, okay? I dropped the Viola on virtuals at 50 cents. It's pumped like 4x or whatever since then. I wouldn't be buying either of those two. But there are a few projects on this list which don't have the same looking charts as SUI and virtuals. Well, they're not up 4x, okay? They're maybe only up 20%, 30%, 40% from the lows. One example I would be pointing to would be Say. Okay, this one is at 23 cents. The lows are at like 14 maybe, something like that. It's not pumped a lot. It's a good buy. Another one I would say is a good buy would be Casper. It's currently at 11 cents. It did dump down to 5. But when you zoom out, it's still basically 2x lower than its all-time high. Those are the types of setups I like, not projects that have gone up loads in the past couple of weeks. Obviously, the ones that have gone up loads in the past couple of weeks, they could still keep going up in the bull run, right? But I just prefer the look of the charts where they're more like this, and they've had a big sell-off. They're really cheap, and they're going to be going for new highs on this rally. Those are the types of charts I'm looking at right now, not the ones that have pumped a ton. Okay, so we're going to get into the comments. By the way, YouTube remonetized my channel after a long wait. I think I was demonetized for over a year. So I had no super chats, no channel memberships, no ad revenue, none of that. So technically I was doing YouTube for free. Although obviously I have a VIP group, YouTube were not paying me a penny that whole time. So I've missed out on hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially because of that. But I don't care. I don't care. I do this for a passion, but it's always good to have a little bit of extra money, right? A little bit of extra money to put into crypto, to gamble with meme coins. It's always fun to have a little bit more. So I'm not complaining. But yeah, we have channel memberships now, which, it doesn't really have much value. I'm going to be honest. The VIP membership is where the value is. That's where you get my buy alerts, my sell alerts, Discord, all of that. But there is a channel membership feature. And basically all it's going to do is I'm just going to prioritize your comments, okay? So if I see someone with the channel membership, I will prioritize their comments. I'll try and answer every comment you give on a live stream. But that's really the only value it has. Okay, so don't expect buy alerts or any of that. If you go on the channel membership, you're not going to get it. It's really just, you know, more for the status of being a channel member, right? We can see already someone joined the channel membership. Crypto Gangster, welcome to the channel membership, YouTube member. And I can see he's put in some of the emojis I have, but I can't see them on my StreamYard website. For some reason, it's just given text. Let me just see if we can see that in the chat. There we go. We got Casper, Sui, some green candles. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay. Straight away, we got a donation as well. ATH says I have 25% say, 25% peak, analog 10%, memes 15%, and you've got Tau. Okay, so appreciate the donation. There's a bit of a weird allocation going on there with that portfolio, I'm going to admit. Why have you got such high amounts in risky coins is what I would say. Okay, you've got no Casper in that portfolio. You've got no Sui. You've got no Tau. Basically, your whole portfolio is in mid caps. You haven't got a single coin in the top 100. And, you know, that's all well and good if you want to go risky, if you don't mind losing the money you're putting into crypto. But, you know, I wouldn't be doing that if you're putting significant chunks of your money into crypto. I think everyone should have Sui, Kaspa, Tau, Sui, Kaspa, Tau, always in the portfolio. You have got Tau. I just saw that at the end, but you haven't put a percentage there next to Tau. But yeah, just your allocations are a little bit off, and the amount that you're putting into mid caps for me is a little bit concerning. I would have way more in Sui, way more in Kaspa. You know, 10% memes, that's okay. 10 to 15%. It's okay if you want to be a complete degen. I usually recommend 1 to 3% in memes, so you're going way overboard that recommendation. But I don't know your situation, right? You could be a young guy. You've only put $200 into the market and you're willing to lose that money. I don't know your situation, but if you're putting large amounts in, I'd be a little bit cautious with that allocation that you've given there. Okay, you got a lot in mid caps and basically very little in high caps. Thoughts on Launchcoin? I'm seeing a lot of discussion about this. How do I find it? Let me just get it up. Hearing a lot of people talk about Launchcoin. Is this it here? Right. So let me pull up the details. Believe in something. Greatness starts with your belief. Okay, so this is getting a ton of hype right now. This is getting a ton of hype right now. Solana-based platform aiming to simplify early-stage crypto investing and help project founders raise funds more efficiently. Okay, the ticker is Believe. Solana-based Web3 platform for creating and promoting social tokens via social media interactions. Yeah, so it's like the next evolution, you could say, of memes, right? Social tokens. It's up a ton. 7,000%. I mean, crazy. Let me pull up the actual chart on TradingView. Because I never buy coins when they look like this, okay? I want to be clear about that. When a coin pumps like this, I stay well away because it's just unpredictable, right? It could just dump straight back down. It could keep exploding. It's just highly volatile and highly uncertain. And I don't like that as an investor, really. But yeah, I mean, look, if the market continues in this like hype risk on sentiment, then I'm sure a project like this will probably do quite well. Okay. Because memes are going to keep going, social tokens, all this stuff is going to continue in a hype-based crypto market. Okay. But the problem is if the hype evaporates a little bit, if the risk evaporates, a project like this will sell off really hard. Really, really hard. People are saying that inflation is so bad that there is going to crash. Would like your opinion. Okay, so regarding inflation, the current inflation numbers are looking fine. CPI, PPI, all of that's looking fine. But what you've got to realize is that is a very manipulated figure. It's not a reliable metric for inflation. If you want a more reliable metric for inflation, you should look at trueflation.com. This gives you a better indication of inflation, essentially, right? And based on Trueflation, inflation found its low at the beginning of April. And since then, it's been heading up. So essentially, since the tariffs have come into place, inflation has been heading up. Trueflation has been heading up. The problem is CPI and PPI, they're heavily skewed indicators. Second of all, there's a lagging effect. And third of all, do you really trust the figures that the government gives out anyway, right? Versus something like this. So I do think inflation will go up. And it is going up right now. I think it will continue to go up. The reason for that is common sense. Okay, if you've got a tariff, that's essentially a tax. What is a company going to do if there's a 30% tariff? Okay, just to remind people, there's still a 30% tariff in place with China. There's a 10% tariff in place with the UK, who is literally the closest ally to the US. They're on the good books of the US, yet there's still a 10% tariff. And there's many tariffs across the rest of the world as well. If you've got a 30% tariff on China, that is going to lead to companies passing prices onto the consumer. Okay? Because are they going to take a 30% cut in earnings? Or are they going to increase the price and pass it on to the consumer? And Apple, I'm pretty sure, have already said they're going to increase prices. And a bunch of other companies have said that as well. They're just kind of waiting. It's kind of like a game of chicken. Who's going to move first, right? You got all these different companies, all probably going to increase prices at some point, but they're not doing it yet, right? So I think they're kind of playing wait and see, the Jerome Powell method. But if you have tariffs this high, I'm sure it will cause inflation to tick up. Okay, now there's a question of, is it transitory, is it short term, or is it long lasting? There's all sorts of different questions, but Jerome Powell was very clear. There are inflation concerns based on tariffs. It's just true. I expect inflation to have like a second wave at some point this year, and it does concern me. I'm going to be honest. We went from a situation of potentially having like 4 or 5 Fed rate cuts to now I think 2 is being priced in. That's because of inflation concerns. Okay. If inflation wasn't a concern, we would have had a rate cut last month. We would have. Or this month, was it? We're in May, right? We would have had a rate cut this month, but we didn't because inflation is still a concern, because there's still uncertainty. They will only cut probably once the labor market weakens. That is when they'll cut. And by that point, it's too late. We're in a full-scale meltdown, right? So we'll worry about that later on. But inflation does worry me a little bit. And that's why I kind of think, because of this uptick in inflation, That's kind of going to speed up growth a little bit here. This is going to give the illusion that things are going fine. And then all of a sudden, we come crashing down later on in the year. So I really think we're in like a parabolic stage right now. We're going to head up for a month, 2 months, whatever it is. And then we correct very heavily. VIP member, your content is amazing and thanks for everything you do. Will the altcoins still pump if Fed does not reduce rates this summer? I think they'll still pump, but the longer they leave it, the bigger the crash will be. And yeah, I mean, a rate cut would be good, to be honest, but we've been going up without rate cuts in the last few months, right? So we don't need a rate cut. It's just a good benefit. It adds fuel to the fire, right? And the rate cut would probably come in like Q3 or Q4, if we're being realistic now. The odds of a rate cut in June are very low. The odds of a rate cut in July are low as well. So things need to drastically change for us to get a rate cut anytime soon. Thanks for the daily streams, bro. No problem. You're welcome. What about Ondo, especially with the bullish news, and it still hasn't majorly pumped? Yeah, that's because, you know, a lot of altcoins are in the same position as Ondo. Ethereum's gone up a lot, but it's not just Ondo, which is kind of lagging behind. Casper hasn't pumped a ton yet either. Okay, Ondo found a low at 65 cents. It went up to 1.14. It did have some growth, right? It did go up 70% from the low. So it's not like it's done absolutely nothing. But we haven't hit that stage yet where everyone goes fully risk on with altcoins. We're seeing risk coming back with Ethereum, but we haven't seen it come back with altcoins yet. We're not in a, you know, full-scale alt season yet. We definitely have signs flashing that we're in an alt season, but we're not in a full-scale alt season yet. In fact, we're still not really that close. Yeah, Ondo's a safe 5x from here, I think. You think about Turbo price prediction, it's very hard to predict a coin like Turbo, but I think it could pull a 5x. I think there's better plays to invest in. Where do you see Say and Casper the next year? Can bull run last until mid-2026? No, I don't see that. No, I don't expect that. Yeah, there's a big argument here that we run until the middle of 2026. For me, that's mainly an argument coming from Cope to try. It's a coping mechanism to try and make yourself feel better, right? I don't think that's going to be the case. There's nothing really that I'm seeing that's pointing towards that. We could top out late 2025, but mid 2026, that would just be such a long bull run, right? Bitcoin doesn't normally have bull runs that last that long. There's a clear cycle to crypto. Search the 4-year cycle. It would massively deviate away from that if we topped out in the middle of 2026. I mean, look, anything can happen. Anything can happen, but I give it a very, very low probability, that scenario. No, I can't see that. 2026 to 2027? Will private group be active and having buy/sell alerts after the bull run during bear market? I'm planning to join a lifetime member during the bear market, and thank you. Yes, absolutely. We'll be active for many, many years into the future. Many, many years into the future. And the bear market is the biggest opportunity. That's where all the money's made. That's where I'll be really buying heavy. Right now, I'm not buying heavy. I'm throwing peanuts into the market right now. I bought heavy a couple years ago, back when Bitcoin was at 15K. That's when I was buying heavy. Right now, I'm just throwing peanuts in the market. So I'm looking forward to the time where I can load up 6 figures a day into crypto. I'm looking forward to that. But right now, I'm just throwing chump change into the market because things are overbought on the, when you zoom out cyclically, right? A Bitcoin is above 100K. It was at 15K not that long ago, really, when you think about it. So I bought all my Bitcoin really between 15 and 17K. And I bought most of my altcoins between 15 and 30K Bitcoin. I'm looking forward to when we have a massive bear market and I can buy really heavily again. Now, I still think we're heading up in the next few months, but eventually it will come to an end. And that's where the real money is made, is in the bear market. The decisions you make in the bear market is everything. The money's made in the bear market, not real. Like the money's made in the bear market because you buy in the bear market. If you buy in the bull market, you don't make that much money. Sure, you can make 2x's, 5x's, but if you buy in the bear market at the depths of hell, that's where the 50x's and 100x's are made, because you're buying at rock bottom. So yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing buy alerts, sell alerts, all of that stuff for a very long time, man. I'm going to be here for a while. So if you're going on lifetime, you've got a very good offer there on the current prices. I've got a portfolio consisting of 4,100 Ondo, 4,000 Aero, 1,000 Render, 3,000 Jupiter, 200 Aptos. Okay, man, I can't review that. You're giving me the token numbers? That's not helpful at all. Give me the percentage of your portfolio, or at minimum dollar values. Coins, not dollar values. That's not helpful at all. The first time you said last chance was in September 2024, buddy. Yeah, it's a title, bro. Actually listen to the live stream. Don't just read a title. I got to get clicks, right? So I put a convincing title. If you invest based on YouTubers' titles, you're not going to make money. But yeah, I do think time is running out to load up. I do think that. So I kind of agree with the title, you know? Obviously, last chance in brackets in all caps. There's a bit of hyperbole there to get clicks, right? But there's still truth in it. Like, I don't think you're going to have long before the train leaves the station. Okay. Once Bitcoin breaks above 109K, that's when stuff gets crazy. Okay. And you won't really have many opportunities to buy again after that until the bear market. Right now, Bitcoin is actually seeing a nice little bounce off support here. I've got this outlined support region. We've just hit the support. We got a nice little bounce. So right now, I think we're looking pretty good, guys. Honestly, I think we're looking pretty good. But once we get above 109K, I'm not buying really in any altcoins. Maybe I'll do some flipping, like flip this coin into that coin. But I'm not adding any extra fiat into the market. You know, what I'll do is I'll kind of sell portions of one coin to then fund the purchase of another, but I wouldn't be adding any fresh capital into the market once we're above 109. I mean, even at these levels, I'm not really adding any extra cash into the markets. I'm just selling a bit of this into that. That's how I'm funding my purchases. For example, I was up 4x on virtuals, just held it for a few weeks, got a 4x. I've just sold my initial on that. That's going to fund some meme coin purchases. So I don't need to add fresh capital to the market. I can just sell initials on coins that are up a lot. And that way I'm kind of protecting myself as well. How's it going, second Tim? 32? Great to see you. Good morning, Archie and crew. How's it going? He called 15 cents Casper by the end of May. I think that's definitely possible. I think it's definitely possible. 15 cents by the end of May. Very, very possible for Kaspa. We just need to get above this 0.5 level that we rejected at, and we're going straight to 15 cents. That's the next stop. Okay, I put some fibs on the Casper chart. We clearly rejected at the 0.5 level, 13 cents. We got a rejection there. We came back down. Now we're going to head back up, I think, for 15 cents. I really think we're making a macro move here to 30. That's what I think. We're making a macro move to 30 cents on Casper. And I think we'll get to 30 cents on Casper in the next couple months. Probably by the end of the summer, we'll be at 30 cents. Do I think Mavia will pump soon? Mavia will pump when gaming pumps. Gaming is still pretty quiet. That's why you don't over allocate into gaming. I have a very, very small allocation into gaming. I have a few gaming projects, but it's only 1% of my portfolio. Mavia. Not a bad buy today, actually. Not a bad DCA. I think it will do well. Whether or not it will go all the way to all-time highs, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's a very long way away. But it doesn't even have to. It can just pull a 5 to 10x from here and be pretty good. $2. I think it'll do way more than a 5 to 10x from here, but I'm just being conservative. Talking about X's, I just recently dropped a buy alert, literally a couple days ago, into the VIP. It's printing. It's already up 2x. Let me just check the chart. Let me just check the chart. If this stream gets 500 likes, I'll disclose the buy alert on X today. If the stream gets 500 likes, I'll disclose it. But it's up 2x from my buy alert. I put the buy alert out just a couple days ago, literally. You would have doubled your money had you got in when I did. That's like 5K going to 10K in 2 days. Or 1K going to 2K in 2 days. I mean, crazy gains. And it looks like it's about to start sending it again. Looks like it's going to keep going. I'm not going to disclose it just yet. It's a very small cap coin. But I got my reasons as to why I bought it. Okay, I got a very clear thesis as to why I bought it. It's not just random. It's not just a random purchase. It is very, very risky, so be careful. But I think it's going to pump a lot. But man, the VIP right now is very active. People debating Ethereum in the chat. Where will Ethereum top? It's a big debate. We always have it in the VIP route. Will it top at 4K, 6K, 10K, some people say? It's always a great debate. Thank you for saying you make more in the bear market. I agree. It's just a fact, bro. The bear market is just glorious. If you buy in the bear market, it's amazing, man. Like, let me pull up the Bitcoin chart here. Look at that, right? This is where I deployed all my capital on Bitcoin. You buy it there, you sit back, you wait, you twiddle your fingers, boom, bull run. Absolute bull run. Okay. Next bear market, maybe it comes down to 35K. Okay. Buy that, boom, goes up to 250. Next bull run. Like, it's just so easy, man. You buy it when Bitcoin basically goes just below this 786 fib retracement. Okay. I'll show you exactly what I mean. From the bottom, let me just show you. So if you get the fibs and you do it from the low to the high, from the low of the 2018 bear market to the high of the 2021 bull market, all you needed was that data. Okay, you just needed those 2 data points and a fib retracement tool, and you would have basically got the 786 at 17.2K. You could have then said to yourself, well, based on the previous cycles, Bitcoin usually drops a little bit lower than the 786 in a bear market. A little bit lower, okay? Give or take 5%, 10%, whatever it is. It usually drops a little bit lower than the 786. Where did it find its bottom? 15.4K, a little bit lower than the 786. So what I did was I saw this, I saw the whole FTX situation going on as well, and I was like, this is a bottom signal. This is a massive, massive bottom signal. What did I do? I bought all my Bitcoin in that period between 17 to 15K. Now, I still had a little bit more cash to deploy, hoping it was maybe going to 13. But if it didn't do that, I just deployed anyway at the breakout. Once I saw the kind of the pattern form, bought a little bit more around 17. By the way, this isn't just an anomaly. The previous bull run, we also found a bottom just before the 786. Previous bear market, we found a bottom just before the 786. And the previous bear market before that as well, I believe we just found the bottom a little bit lower than the 786. So let's put on the fibs this time around and go from the 15K low to, let's just say the top is at 120K. A 120K top would put the 786 at 37K. I just told you, usually it bottoms out a little bit lower than the 786. So let's call it 33K. That could be your potential bottom in 2026. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. But I'm saying if you buy Bitcoin there, if you manage to buy Bitcoin at 37K and then it goes to 250 the next bull run, that is where the life-changing money is made. And if you buy altcoins at that time as well, let's say you buy Sui, you buy Solana, you buy Casper, all in the depths of the bear market, that's where the crazy money's made. Again, I don't want to make it sound like it's a guarantee that Bitcoin goes down there. It's absolutely not. And if we go higher than 120, then the 786 is also higher. So a 150K top on Bitcoin would put the 786 at 44K. So maybe the bottom would be at 40K in that situation. So it all depends how high the top is. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, but it is a very credible thing to look at in determining the bear market levels. Have to get around joining your VIP, must have on my list. Absolutely, man. I do recommend joining, especially before the prices go up. There will be a price hike on the VIP because the demand is ridiculous right now. People are joining in massive numbers. Lol, Archie, you're going through the people are irritating facial and verbal response face that YouTubers eventually go through. Before long, you are going to have a slap button. Man, I try to be very understanding and patient and easygoing, but sometimes certain questions, man, they can frustrate me a little bit, you know? Okay, we got a better portfolio sample here. We've got percentages. 15% Render, 15% Ondo, 10% Jupiter, 2% Aptos, 15 Arrow, 1% Ada, 15% Sui. Rest is cash. Nice portfolio, man. I would say Casper is missing from this portfolio. Casper's my second biggest altcoin holding currently, and that's only because Sui pumps so much. Casper could overtake my Sui if Casper goes on a big run. So you're missing out on one of the best coins ever created, okay, which is Casper. So you got none of that. I would definitely get a position. But besides that, your portfolio is pretty solid. I don't know why you've got so much in Aptos. Okay. For me, I just buy Sui over Aptos. It was very evident to me that Sui was the better option. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a terrible project. It might not even be a bad buy right now, but I just think Sui was the chosen one and Aptos kind of fell short. You know, Mr. Labs just killed it. I bought some Casper, $500 worth, 12 cents. Nice. Realistic price prediction for Arrow in July. Let's see. Arrow is at 69 cents right now, seeing a little bounce on the hourly. July. I think we're getting a big run up until July. The next couple months, I think, are going to be explosive. So I wouldn't be surprised if by July it's either above or testing the highs around July time. I would not be surprised if it's above or attempting those highs of around $2.30. How do you think we're going the next 2 days? Man, 2 days, I don't have a clue, but next 2 weeks, I think we're going to be heading back up again. But I think Bitcoin looks pretty good. I was taking a look at Bitcoin on the shorter time frames. It's seen a nice little bounce here off support. And the total 3 also looks really primed, the total 3 chart. So a lot of people, I saw a lot of people freaking out here saying, we're going to 90K, sell. I didn't see that. I didn't see that in the chart. To me, we look quite strong. We look pretty strong here for another leg up. I think we see all-time highs on Bitcoin. Where would they be? Here. I think we see all-time highs pretty quickly, not too long away. So that's why you've got to be prepared right now. Like, I have last chance in the title. It's a little bit clickbait, but there is truth in it as well, guys. Like, if we get to 109K in 2 weeks, alts will already have flown like another 20, 30, 40, 50% up by then. So I think you want to be positioned right now, personally, for the next run. Okay, you do you, obviously. If you think we're crashing to 10K, then sell if you want, right? But I'm telling you what I think. You're entitled to do whatever you want. Turbo 8000X? Where are you getting that number from, my friend? Question about Casper. What is the point of KRC20s? Is there any real utility for it, or is it just for memes? Right now, it's just for memes, but eventually Casper will be rolling out smart contracts, which will allow all sorts of different use cases, okay? All sorts of different projects will be potentially building on Casper. I think there's going to be a big stablecoin use case on Casper. A big stablecoin utility. Thoughts on useless coin? No idea, man. What a weird name. What if in June the Fed gives the gaming rates plan? They say that there'll only be 1 rate cut instead of 2. Last time they said they would lower from 4 to 2 rates, it started to crash. I don't know if they'll say that. The market's already pricing in like 1 or 2 rate cuts, so I don't think it would be a massive shock. But Jerome Powell isn't normally that explicit. He's usually pretty vague. You have to infer from what he says. His statements are usually quite ambiguous. I don't normally hear him go and say exactly what they're going to do months in advance. He usually says the following words: we'll wait and see. That's what he says. We'll have to wait and see. We're in no rush. We'll have to wait and see. That's all he says. He doesn't tell you what he's going to do, usually. Yeah, I think we're getting a breakout here. I do. I think we're heading up to 110 in the coming days, potentially. Maybe in the next week or two we're there. I constantly get this, man. I don't know why everyone thinks alt season is going to be in Q4 and Q1 and Q2 and Q3 next year. We're very close to an alt season starting. Why can't it be in Q2 and Q3 this year? Why can't it be then? It seems to me like the lagging effect of tariffs and the potential recessionary effect, all of those things will be seen further down the line. So why can't we have a really quick blast here to the upside and then we get the bear market in a few months? Why is everyone thinking the bull market's going to be in like 6 months' time rather than now, right? What's going to change in 6 months compared to now? If anything, I think we could be in a worse situation, especially with the hard data in 6 months' time. People are waiting for rate cuts, but by that point, we could already be in a really bad situation with the labor market. When are the Fed ever proactive rather than reactive? They're always reactive. So by the time they cut rates, it's probably already too late. Most of the gains were already made. Like if you go and look at 2008 as an example, and loads of other times as well, when they cut rates really, really heavy, basically to zero, it's not as bullish as people think. People think, oh, they're going to keep doing rate cuts. That's really good for markets. That actually indicates to markets that the economy isn't healthy, that there's a problem somewhere, whether it's the labor market, whether it's deflation, whatever it is. They're not going to cut drastically if the market's healthy. The reason they're delaying the cuts towards the back end of the year now is because the market has shown greater signs of health recently. The fact that the market's shown greater signs of health and strength, they're delaying rates. Because what is a rate cut at the end of the day? It's a way to stimulate growth. They don't need to stimulate growth right now because the market's quite strong. So if they started cutting really heavy, to me, that would be worrisome. Yeah, I think it'll be worse in 6 months. I struggle to see how the hard data could be better in 6 months' time, given the lagging effect of tariffs. I struggle to see that. I think the consumer will really, really weaken in its strength. The consumers will really weaken in their buying power. In 6 months' time, I think the consumer will be weaker in 6 months' time than what they are now, but we'll have to wait and see. My only issue is not having an exchange to obtain Casper, both Sui and Aptos, because of the founders. You've got both Sui and Aptos because of the founders, but have more conviction in Sui. Yeah, that's fine. Didn't the founder step down of Aptos? I haven't been following it that much recently, but I swear the founder stepped down. But yeah, Kaspa, you should be able to buy it. If you're in the US, you can buy Kaspa on Kraken or Uphold. You can buy it on either of those. So Kaspa is available in the US. You can buy it on Kraken Exchange. And if you're not in the US, you can easily buy it on Mexi. Bought 3K Casper last night at 119 and it immediately dipped to 114. Pain. Man, if that affects you, you shouldn't be in crypto, bro. Like, I'm not trying to be harsh, but going from 119 to 114 in a day, or immediately in an hour, whatever it was, like, that's nothing. That's crypto, bro. It's volatile. Watch it go straight back up now. You got to get used to the volatility, man. 119 to 114, it's back at 119 now. So you basically didn't even lose money. Someone on one of my recent videos, I think it was yesterday, they put a comment saying, you talked about Casper 2 days ago. Now the price has gone down. You should be ashamed of yourself or something like that, Like, oh, I'm sorry. I have to always talk about a coin straight before it's going to pump. If I ever talk about a coin and then 2 days later it goes down a couple percent, oh, I'm such a terrible person for that, Like, crypto is volatile. One day it's up, one day it's down, 1 minute it's up, 1 minute it's down. You need to be used to that if you're in crypto. So Yeah, not much I can say to that, man. There was a really weird comment I saw yesterday. The comment section. Someone was just having a go at me because I made a video on Casper, and they bought it. They bought based on the video, and I think it went down 3%, and they were complaining. It's like one time someone joined the VIP group and they bought a coin, and the coin went down like 5%, okay, in a week. It then went back up and did a 10x, but that doesn't matter. The coin went down like 5%, and they asked for a refund because the coin went down 5%. It's like, do you expect instant guaranteed 100x's in crypto, or do you expect a bit of volatility? All right, guys. Gonna wrap up the stream here. I got some stuff to do. Oh, I just saw we got a donation, so I'll go over this first. But I got some stuff to do. I'm gonna be doing a Q&A video very soon. And if you don't know already, the way I do Q&A videos, basically the VIPs put some questions into the Discord chat, and I answer the best ones on a video. So I'm going to be doing that very soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be dropping a portfolio review. I'm going to be dropping a portfolio review video. That's going to come out for the VIPs. So I'm going to be going through loads of the portfolios and basically assessing them and letting you guys know what I think about them. If I think it's good, I'll tell you it's good. If I think it's bad, I'll tell you it's bad. I'm going to be just straight up, honest, and sometimes a bit brutal, okay? Okay, $5 donation. Is now a good time to put my last 20K in crypto, or should I wait a week to see if it drops? Good question. If you got 20K on the side, should you wait or should you buy? It's a bit of a tricky one because it is uncertain. Obviously, anything can happen in crypto. We could go down. But if it was me, I would DCA a good chunk of that this week. Okay, if it was me, I can't tell you what you should do with your 20K. I'm telling you, if I had 20K on the side, that's what I would do. I would probably DCA like 10 to 15K of it into quality altcoins that haven't pumped a lot. So a coin like Casper would be a great example. Ondo, Tau, they would be some examples. Tau's pumped a fair bit, but Casper, Ondo, and Say, they would be some I would buy. And then I'd probably keep 5K or so on the side in case we get a dip. 5 to 7K. Just keep that on the side. If we get a dip, then you can buy. But I would be favoring being in the market right now versus out of the market. So I would deploy most of it in the coming days if it were me. But obviously, you do you. But I appreciate the donation. Yeah, I'm not banned anymore. I don't have restrictions on my monetization status anymore. They remonetize me, which is good. So you can now drop donations, and you can also become a channel member, okay? And you get some special emojis. You get some special emojis if you become a channel member. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. If I didn't answer your question, definitely become a VIP member, and I'll be sure to answer it over there. There's a much higher chance of it getting answered in the VIP. I'll be dropping some new buy alerts as well in the coming days. I'm looking to go risk on, guys. I already have bought, is it 4 or 6 new memes? I think 4 memes and 2 lower cap utility coins. So if you join the VIP right now, you unlock 6 buy alerts that I haven't shared on YouTube yet. I think all of them can do great. One of them's already done a quick 2x instantly. I think that one's going to keep going up and potentially 20x in the coming couple months. But you unlock 6 buy alerts, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more. I don't usually do this many buy alerts, but I think this is a really important point in the market where you've got to look at going risk on a little bit. Okay. For me, it's just a couple percent of my portfolio. Some people, they maybe want to allocate 5% for low caps, but for me, it's just a couple percent. But this is the time where I'm going risk on. I think we're getting a nice pump to all-time highs in the coming days and weeks, and I want to capitalize on that with some low caps. So if you're interested in that, check out the VIP. Based on the demand, the price will be going up. So the more demand we get, the higher the prices go. Whatever price you get in at, you're locked in at that price. And also, you do get better options if you pay every 6 months, every year, or even lifetime versus paying on a monthly basis. You can see all of that when you sign up, linked in the link down below. Okay, I apologize if I've been stuttering a little bit on this live stream. I've been in a prolonged fasting state, so I haven't eaten anything in quite a while, a couple of days, so a little bit tired. But I appreciate you guys in the stream. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.